I'm alive. Welcome back for another stream. How's everyone doing? Hope you had a great weekend. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, I thought I'd do like an impromptu live stream. I was watching the Tottenham Newcastle game, and then I just thought, you know what, I didn't get to do a deadline stream, so I thought I'd go live. I've got Teddy here as well, so he's going to join the stream. He always likes to make the streams difficult for me, so I'm sure he will again. When I was trying to press start streaming, I almost pressed the wrong button, so that could have been a disaster already. Thanks everyone that has tuned in already. Unbelievable turnout. I was going to read out all the names, but it seems to have frozen. Can you guys see the chat? I'll tell you what, I can't get through a stream without a technical difficulty. I've lost the chat. Oh, there we go. So we've got Aya, Adam, Blues, VIP, Kobe, Joshua, George, Saika, Gareth, Kieran, Vale, Island, Bilal, Narish, Ahmed, Nicola, Vigard. How's everyone doing? How was your game week 8? So here's my team. I am on 49 points, so overall 546, which was a small red arrow. Obviously, I activated the wild card heading into game week 8, and yeah. It's been a bit of a crazy game week 8. I actually wrote down a list of some of the surprises that we've had this game week. So we had Jimenez benched, Rafinha didn't play. We had James from Chelsea, obviously benched, came on for a cameo. We had Armstrong from Southampton, didn't even play. Started every game up until this game week. We had Grealish, obviously benched, don't think he played. We had Jota, didn't play. We had Diaz, came off the bench for a 1-pointer. Soufal didn't play for West Ham, didn't make the squad. And then obviously, Heung-min Son, after all these rumours that he wasn't even going to be in the squad, he had COVID. He's in the squad, he starts and he scores. Crazy. Crazy game week. Obviously, we've still got the Arsenal game tomorrow. So I've got Smith Rowe and Ramsdale left. I think Adam was asking if I've got anyone left from that game. So I've just got the 2 players left to play. And I've got Teddy on my lap giving himself a lick. Lucky the camera can't see that. So yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. It's a small red arrow, but I've got Smith Rowe and Ramsdale left to go. So hopefully I'll finish on a green or maybe a grey arrow by the end of the game week. If anyone's got team questions or, you know, rate my teams, feel free to put them in the chat. I haven't prepared too much specifically for the stream, besides some of the usual, so I'm happy to answer all questions. It's Bilal's first time tuning into a live stream. Welcome, Bilal. Good to have you here, mate. I'm a bit rusty. It's been a while since my last stream. But yeah, it's good to be live again. Good to be back. Obviously, I normally make videos and I don't do as many live streams as I'd like to. So it's good to do one again. I was going to do a deadline stream on Friday. On Saturday, sorry. But my brother was staying over on Friday, so I couldn't. I still haven't told my little brother that I do FPL content, by the way. Do you guys think I should tell him? I don't know why. I just feel really weird about telling him. So he's into FPL, like, massively. He really likes it. And he's seen once or twice I've had like the fplfocal Discord on my phone, and, you know, and he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "No, it's nothing." I'm thinking about telling him, but I don't know. I feel like there's no going back once I tell him. Jonathan's on 34 with Zaha and Guaita left, all in on Palace for the last game. He's been having laughable game weeks lately. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Especially having Zaha and Guaita. If anything, I think most people have got Arsenal players left for the final game tomorrow. Paul says opinions on Son. I think Son's a great pick. I posted a video over the international break on my initial game week wildcard draft, and I had Son in that draft. He didn't make the final cut, and then obviously there was the news that he had COVID, but obviously he doesn't have COVID. He's absolutely fine. And Spurs have got very good fixtures long term. Just pull up the fixtures here. So if we go to Spurs, got Son here. So after tonight, he's on 4 goals, 2 assists for the season. He's got a few fixtures here rated red, but I really don't think they're actually red. I think all of these games, Son's capable of scoring him. You know, if you look at West Ham, they've got Europa League commitments. So they're going to be, you know, we've seen in the past, sides like Burnley, Leicester, Everton, qualify for Europa League or Champions League and then struggle in the league. West Ham got a well-earned win today, well fought, but I don't think this is actually a red fixture. I would give this a 2 or 3 if anything. And in Man United, you know, Son's very capable of playing on the counter-attack, so I could easily see Son getting something out of that. And you look at all these fixtures beyond that as well, so I do think Son's a very good picture. A very good pick. Ahmed says, worried about Armstrong. Yeah, I am worried about Armstrong, so I need to make a decision next game week on how I'm going to line up. It'll probably be something like this, so I'll literally just bench Armstrong. I think that's what I'll probably do. I think I'll start Rafinha instead. So if I was going to bench someone looking at this team, it'd have to be between Armstrong and Antonio. And I think I'd rather start Antonio, despite how disappointing he's been. I'm really behind on chat. Sorry for missing any messages. I'll do my best to get to them all. Ero's got 12 of the 15 same players. I mean, hopefully we're both right with our picks, but yeah, it's not a great start. It was a small red arrow, and obviously, like I say, James didn't play, Diaz didn't play, Rafinha we knew about, Armstrong didn't play, so it's not ideal when straight off the wildcard you've got a few fires to put out. But the plan is, in my case anyway, I'm just going to bench Armstrong. I'm not going to make a transfer. I could go Armstrong to Tony. I did leave myself with 0.4 in the bank, so I had enough money to make that move exactly. But yeah, I think what I'll probably do is just bench Armstrong, and then you know, I'll have 2 moves. I always try to get myself in a position to have 2 transfers. I think that's the best way to play. If you can avoid making a transfer, then I would. As tempting as transfers are, you do put yourself in a better position if you can roll a transfer and then you've got 2 to make the following week, or you can just make 1 and keep rolling the second. And likewise, you could end up making 3 and it's only a -4, and it's almost like a mini wildcard. Mohammed says, good time to bring in Reece James. I mean, he's still not actually played yet since since coming back from injury. You know, he's had a minute here, 28 there. So it's a bit of a gamble. It does look like Chilwell's the better pick, I hate to say, because I got that one completely wrong. Yeah, on our Discord I was saying, you know, I'm not sure between Chilwell and James. It's going to have to be between the two. I did have Rudiger initially on that wildcard video, but yeah, I had to drop Rudiger for one of James or Chilwell, really. I mean, I suppose I could have technically just held on to Rudiger, but you know, I thought there's a high ceiling potential in going with James, and yeah, backfired. But all in all, in a good position, you know, at 17k overall. Got a couple of players left to play tomorrow. Kobe says time to sell Antonio. This is a difficult one. I'm probably not going to sell him just yet. I think I will hold him for another week or two and then make a decision. After the next 2, he does have, I think it's Liverpool, and then he's got Wolves away, and then Man City, Brighton, Chelsea. So the fixtures do turn. So I do think there's an opportunity to sell Antonio, but I don't think I'm going to do it just yet. I actually prepared a graphic for this stream. So this is the biggest XG underachievers of Gameweek 8. Obviously, we've still got the Arsenal Palace game to play tomorrow, where there could be other underachievers. But you can see here how unlucky Antonio owners were with today's game. He had an XG underperformance of 0.87, but he failed to score. And again, this kind of just goes back to what we were saying about how much of a troll this game week's been. There's other players here like Mopai. He had an XG of 0.6, failed to score. Even Cancelo had an XG of 0.46 and he failed to score. Parshva says, Mahrez to Son and Armstrong to Davies for a -4, worth it. Davies? Which Davies is that? Oh, Aston Villa Davies. It does depend on the rest of your players. If you've got other people you can play, because obviously you're not going to be able to play Davies whatsoever. If you can play other players and you've got a strong bench, then yeah, I don't think that's a bad move at all. Unfortunate one for Mahrez owners as well. I did think it was going to be a good gaming for Mahrez. In the end, of course, it was all Salah this game week. He was the most captained. In the top 10k, he was 88% captained. And I think his effective ownership was something crazy like 188%. But yeah, it was an incredible performance. Absolutely world-class goal that he scored. Turned the Watford defence inside out. Narish says, time to sell Benrahma. Yeah, I think it is. I think Benrahma's got 1 attack and return in his last 6 games. Something like that. So yeah, he has really dropped off after the strong start he had. You know, he got a goal and an assist in both of his opening 2 games, but he's really dropped off since then. You could even argue Antonio has as well, but Antonio is still putting up good numbers. And yeah, personally, I'm going to hold on to him for now. Ahmed says, start 2 from Livramento, White and Sarr. I think I'd probably start White and Sarr between those 3. I mean, Jimenez looked like he was a good option to move from Antonio too, and then he goes and gets benched completely unexpectedly in Game Week 8. Really unfortunate for Jimenez owners. Comes on late at the very end, gets a 1-pointer. Absolute capitulation from Villa in that game, by the way. 2-0 up and it finishes 3-2 to Wolves. Voji says, is Adam Armstrong nailed? No, definitely not, unfortunately. This is the thing, he started every game. In fact, he'd only come off early once. And it was a bit of a punt, just because he's not been in form, but the fixtures were very good. He obviously had Leeds this game week at home. Leeds who have been really, really poor defensively, and they've been missing players. You know, they were missing, in terms of attack, Rafinha and Bamford. In defence, they were missing Aylin, Firpo, and others. So it felt like a good punt to pick up Armstrong. And the idea was I'd potentially move him on for Tony in a week or 2. But yeah, out of nowhere, he doesn't even start, he doesn't even get a single minute, so very unfortunate. But I know I'm not the only one who's been burned this game week. Braden says, Hwang for Armstrong and Foden to Son for a -4. I don't know about getting rid of Foden, honestly. Foden's been doing fairly well. He's looked pretty good since coming back from injury. looked good over the international break. He's had a goal and an assist in his last 2. I think it would be a bit reactionary to sell Foden now for Son. But Hwang, yeah, potentially a good option if you're getting rid of Armstrong. I think the best option if you're getting rid of Armstrong is Tony, honestly. I think in a couple of weeks, Tony's going to be in everyone's teams. Just grab Tony here. There he is. So he's got Leicester in Gameweek 9, but even Leicester, they've been really poor defensively this season. Struggling to keep clean sheets, leaking goals every week. Obviously, they conceded 2 against Man United this game week. And then beyond that, Burnley away. Burnley again leaking loads of goals. Norwich, incredible fixture. Newcastle. Obviously, we don't know what Newcastle will be looking like by then. I'm certain it will be under a new manager or maybe a caretaker manager. And Azu says, should I sell Lukaku? No, I definitely wouldn't sell Lukaku. Definitely not right now. You look at the fixtures he's got. Norwich at home, absolutely incredible fixture. You know, and they're going to have Mason Mount. I presume he'll be back in the starting 11 by now, so they'll have more creativity, which I think they've been lacking. And likewise, Reece James, I expect he'll start, which is more, attacking threat and more service to Lukaku. So I don't think it's the right time to sell Lukaku. Shania says, had Dyer. Oof, commiserations to all Dyer owners after his own goal tonight. Who do I get, Chilwell or James? Right now, it looks like Chilwell's the better pick. James could emerge as an equally good or if not better pick, but I think right now it has to be Chilwell. I think it has to be Chilwell. 2 goals in his 2 games since coming back. So it looks like Alonso is probably going to be used in other cup competitions. Maybe Chilwell plays Champions League as well. Josh says Semedo to Cancelo. Yeah, I love that move. I like that a lot. Hendo says, let's go. The streams are back. Yeah, I know. I was saying earlier, I didn't get a chance to do a deadline stream because my little brother was staying over on Friday night. And I still haven't told my little brother that I do FPL, YouTube and videos and streams and that. But yeah, he was over, so I was busy Saturday morning anyway, unfortunately. Hendo says, do you think Saka will return tomorrow? I think he stands a good chance, definitely. I do think Arsenal win that game. They're in good form now recently, so it's hard to say exactly who though, because it could be Smith Rowe, could be Aubameyang. There's a few players that the goals could come from, but Saka's a great pick in my opinion. And yeah, he was. I picked up Smith Rowe on the wild card because I couldn't afford Saka. And to be fair, I looked at the data, and so far this season, Smith Rowe and Saka were dead even on expected goal involvement. So yeah, I ended up going for Smith Rowe. And I had three home games in the next 4. I says, tell him, I'm sure he'll be impressed. Tell me what? Mark says, James is my favourite. How comes he's your favourite? Out of interest, Mark. Obviously, one thing James has got going in his favour is he's competing with basically Azpilicueta in right wing back, but Azpilicueta doesn't have nearly the same attacking threat. Akko says Vardy over Lukaku. That's a tough one. I think I would still give it to Lukaku. I still think Lukaku will do well over the next few game weeks. I really do. Even though he's been so disappointing. All the way back in, I think it was like Game Week 5 or something, I was asking on Twitter, should I take a punt on Vardy? It's a gut feel pick. But I might go for Vardy because, you know, Lukaku's got Tottenham and Man City. And I shouldn't have listened to Twitter. Twitter said, nah, just get Lukaku, you'll be ahead of the curve. And obviously Vardy's absolutely smashed it over that period. And I probably would have been, I don't know, first in the world by now. Dave Lister, thank you for becoming a member. Is that what just happened? Can you tell I don't get many members? I'm still learning now. Yeah, member. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that a lot, mate. Appreciate that. We still haven't decided what to call them as well. There was a few suggestions on the last stream, like Focal Family, Focal Gang. I don't know. What do we call it? Focal Family? Or is that a bit cringe? Narish says, St. Maximan or Tony? I would go Tony. Mohammed says, Ronaldo to Aubameyang or Lukaku. Adam says, something's telling me Smith Rowe will be benched. Don't say that. That really would wrap up this whole game week for me and my wildcard if Smith Rowe gets benched. So what do you think, Adam? Pepe starts? Gonna have to shift the dog on. Over there. Good boy. Getting a bit toasty of him on my lap. So Bilal says, what inspired the fplfocal name? That's actually a good question. So, really funny story. When I first made the channel, I was trying to think of names, and I was just like saying out loud like FPL and then a random word afterwards. And my original name, I never used it publicly, but originally I was FPL Bin. And then I was like, what, FPL Bin? What is that? That's a joke. That's a ridiculous name. This doesn't sound catchy at all. But I'd already like made an email, fplbin@gmail.com, and I think it still exists. And then I was trying to think of like other words, and then I don't know, focal just kind of sounded good after FPL, you know, alliteration. So I was like, FPL focal, I'll do. I don't think it really matters. I mean, you look on Twitter and there's just so many FPL names out there for just about everything. Like what was the other one I just saw the other day? FPL pot noodle. You know, there's FPL everything. So I don't think, I suppose name doesn't matter too much. It's all about your content and what you're actually contributing. So yeah, I just settled for that, FPL focal. Focalist, Stuart says. There we go. So Dave, thank you for becoming a focalist. Appreciate that very much. Toby, how you doing? Akel says, should I bring in Tony for Jimenez? Yeah, that's a difficult one as well. Have we had any news, or did anyone ask Lage why he benched Jimenez? Was it tactical, or was there another reason? Because it is worrying if it was tactical, I have to say, and I would be very tempted to make the Tony move. Aya says, why aren't you in the Content Creator League? Didn't know there was one. How do I join it? I didn't get the invite. Dave says the FPL Junglist. There we go. FPL Junglist, that's what I'll change name to. If it turns out that someone already claimed Focal, then I'll definitely change name to that. I did want to very quickly have a look at a few other bits and bobs. So this was the scout selection for Gameweek 8. Obviously they still have got Saka and Ramsdale left to play, but not a bad team. They had the dunk clean sheet. Laporte did play after all. Azpilicueta kept the clean sheet. They had Salah captain, Son. They had Grealish, bit of a nightmare. They had Vardy. Antonio was very disappointing, obviously. He got the yellow card. As we were looking at earlier, he was one of the biggest XG underperformers of the game week. Saint Maximin. Did Saint Maximin get anything tonight? I can't remember if he got an assist or not. Can't actually remember. Who assisted Wilson's goal, the first goal? Was that Manquillo? Retellian says, Tony in for Huang, already done. I don't know about making moves that early, Retellian. If possible, I would hold your transfers as late as you can. Because obviously there's Champions League games this week. And is it this week or is it League Cup? Champions League fixtures. Yeah, it is this week. So this week there's Champions League football. You know, Man City have got a game. Liverpool have got a game. So it's a bit of a gamble to make transfers so early because, you know, imagine Salah picks up a bad injury. I won't jinx it, but imagine something like that happens and you've made your moves already. So, yeah, definitely that's something I've tried to do more consciously this season, is hold on to my transfers. I don't know how many of you follow some of my older content where I interviewed managers like Fabio Borges, but it was something that he said. He always made his transfers as late as possible and he was never influenced by price rises. So I'm definitely trying to take a page out of his book this season, and I'm just ignoring all of that as much as I can, and making my moves very late once you've got as much information as possible. Isaac says Lukaku out. I don't think Lukaku out. Not for me. Not for me. He's got such good fixtures ahead. It's I think it's crazy to bench him now. I mean, even in Gameweek 9 he plays Norwich at home, which I do think will be a comfortable win for Chelsea. I think they'll win that 2 or 3-0. Maybe more. You know, like I say, Mason Mount is back now. I think he's been a big miss. Reece James is back, so if he starts, that's good. Pedro says, thanks from a Portuguese viewer. Yeah, Fabio Borges, absolute legend. The greatest FPL manager of all time. And he's from Lisbon. Aya says, Jota owners in the mud after that Firmino hat-trick, including you. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Firmino is going to be the next one who joins the Kings of the Game Week. I didn't actually update the Kings of the Gaming graphic for this stream, but yeah, it's got to be Firmino that joins, right? Josh says, is Rudiger a hold? Yeah, again, I'd wait for the press conferences, but I think he has to be a hold. I think you have to hold on to him, you know, unless they indicate in the press conferences that he's going to be out for a longer period, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's take a quick look at the most transferred in and transferred out players for the game week. In fact, before we go to that, can you guys guess who the most transferred in player is heading into Game Week 9? I realise it's very early, but obviously some people are making moves already. For example, forgotten the name now in chat. We brought in Huang just now. Rotellian, that was it. Obviously, some people are making transfers this early, and we can get an early indication of who the most transferred in players are going to be. But can you guys guess who the most transferred in player is for Game Week 9? Kai reckons it's Chilwell. Eisen reckons it's Ramsdale. Josh says Firmino. Clement says Vardy. Dave says Jansen. Tronic says Gray. Adam reckons it's Son. God, good spread of guesses here. The most transferred in player, by some stretch actually, is Jamie Vardy. 154,000 managers have already picked up Vardy for Game Week 9. Chilwell was second, 94,000. I don't know what the 73,000 managers are doing. Not already owning Salah, but he's third. Cancelo's up there as well, Azpilicueta. Townsend continues to creep up. I was hoping that he would double rise over the break actually, because when I was on my wildcard, I picked up Townsend and he didn't quite make the double rise. Alright, what about the most transferred out player? Can you guys guess who the most transferred out player is heading into Game Week 9? Who else we got on here? Mendy. Oh, Mendy was fantastic. He definitely won the 3 points for Chelsea there. He's looking like one of the best keepers in the world right now. Tony's up there. Bernardo. Bernardo's been brilliant. I remember reading rumours that he wanted to leave heading into the start of the season, and I was thinking he's not going to become a good pick. I suppose he still isn't a great pick, but he's been fantastic. I think everyone's guessing Ronaldo. Let's see if that's right or not. It is indeed. Ronaldo is the most sold. Over 200,000 have already sold Ronaldo. I think he went from 12.5 up to 12.7, and now he's dropped all the way back to 12.5. And it looks like he's in somewhat of a free fall. Not really giving owners any reason to consider holding him right now. Alonso's another one. Of course, Chilwell started again for the second consecutive game week and he scored. Rudiger, also very well sold. Almost 100,000. Yeah, no surprises here really. I think the 50,000 that have already sold Lukaku may go on to regret it, personally. Don't know about that one. You know, like I was saying earlier, look at the three fixtures they've got ahead. Norwich at home, Newcastle away, Burnley at home. Three sides that have leaked goals. And if we go over to Leicester, we were talking about Vardy earlier, most transferred in. And if you look at where a lot of his returns have come from, he had a goal and an assist against Norwich. 2 goals against Burnley. There's no reason why Lukaku can't haul against these sides, despite how disappointing Lukaku's been. Oh, it says 100 viewers. Do we have 100? Incredible. Thank you everyone that has tuned in. I don't know what's going on with my stream. Normally I get to view like all the participants and then I like to read out the names just to say a quick thank you, but it doesn't seem to be working. Maybe we've got too many participants. Yeah, it's not working. So what's everyone's plans for Game Week 9? Transfer plans. I did actually prepare a captain poll, so let's do that. I'm going to spam it in the chat and then everyone just vote on this poll and we'll see who everyone's voted for captain for Game Week 9. It's a difficult one now. After Lukaku's disappointing game week yet again and Salah hauling again, I think there's questions to be asked and there are some other options. So there's the straw poll. Everyone get your votes in and let's see who you voted for on this captain poll. So I need to do my vote. I actually don't know who I'm going to go for yet. I suppose I can just view the results without actually picking one, right? There we go. So hopefully, it's the first time using this, but hopefully we get to see the results coming in real time. Oh, here we go. Auto refresh on. There we go. Get your votes in, guys. I'm interested to see who everyone's voting for your captain in Gameweek 9. Like I was saying, I think Salah and Lukaku are the two obvious picks. In my mind, when I was building my team, it just looked so obvious that when Salah faces Man United, Lukaku's going to be the go-to for the Norwich game. But obviously, Lukaku's been so underwhelming, not been getting the service, that I think it's not as straightforward as it looks. And obviously, Salah hauled against Man City, so he's capable of scoring against anyone this season. I'll just spam it one more time in the chat. There we go. So it looks like 60 odd percent are going for Lukaku, followed by Salah, about 27%. 8% going for Chilwell, interesting. 1 vote for other. If you went for other, let me know who your other is. But yeah, it does look like Lukaku's probably still, despite his underwhelming recent game weeks, he's still going to be the most popular pick. About 60% of our vote anyway. So thank you for getting your votes in, everyone. In fact, I think this is a good time to look at the expected points. So this is courtesy of fplreview.com. They've got an algorithm that's a bit more predictive than pure bookies odds. And this is actually how it looks for Gameweek 9 according to fplreview.com. And they have got Lukaku in top on 6.46 predicted points, followed by Salah, 5.65. Reece James, interestingly, in third on 5.25 predicted points. I don't actually see Chilwell here, which is very surprising. Aubameyang in 4th, 5.2 predicted points. De Bruyne. On the Gameweek 8 Captains video, actually, the 3 that I had were Salah, De Bruyne and Lukaku. So it was Lukaku, he was the only one who let down the 3 picks for the Gameweek 8 Captains video. Kane's there, 5.1 predicted points. Finally got his goal tonight in the league. And an assist, I believe. So I imagine that he's going to be on for 3 bonus. Could become an interesting option, Kane, if you actually find some form ahead of the fixture run that we talked about earlier that's coming up for Spurs. It does look like Son's probably going to be the go-to pick for that run of games in that Spurs side, but again, things change very quickly in FPL, and if Kane starts hauling in the next few game weeks before that fixture run, then it's going to be very, very difficult to look past him. There's a lot of recency bias in FPL, and last season Kane was absolutely incredible. I've got the goal scorer data as well, so this is the goal scorer data. And Lukaku's top for that as well. 53% chance of a goal any time in Gameweek 9. Calvert-Lewin still yet to play since picking up that injury. But this assumes that he plays, these percentages. He's on a 47% chance for the Watford game. Absolutely awful first game for Ranieri, by the way. 5-0. That was a bit of a shock. Absolutely no new manager bounce there. I thought we might see something like that, but wasn't the case. Aubameyang's third. Adam Armstrong is 4th. Timo Werner. Oh, of course, I missed Vardy. That's what Andrew voted for. Shadow says, Salah, who's the best player in the world right now, versus a shambles United defence, seems decent. Yeah, good point. I do agree. I think right now he's actually the best player in the world. And Man United's defence just looks very, very poor. They're leaking goals. I think Luke Shaw's only returned once or twice the whole season. I do have the clean sheet data as well, which is as follows. As you might expect, Chelsea are comfortably top on the clean sheet odds for the Norwich fixture at Stamford Bridge. 64% chance of a clean sheet. Followed by Man City, who face Brighton away, which will be a tough game, I imagine. Brighton really, really doing well this season. which is hilarious because last season Brighton were they had the reputation as massive underperformers, but this season they've in a way overperformed, but they are a very good side. Everton are third, 42% chance of a clean sheet against Watford. I think this is a game that Watford really have to target because they've got such tough games coming up. This is actually comparatively one of the more winnable games, so I don't know about that for Everton. Not that I imagine many of you have got Everton defenders, right? Southampton fourth. Livramento, by the way. Livramento deserves a mention. What an absolute legend. He was on my bench, and I didn't think I was going to have to call on him this week. I'll just bring it back to my team. And there he is. I had him second on the bench, actually. And of course, Armstrong didn't play, so it's going to be Livramento that comes off my bench. And I'll probably end up with a 5-3-2. So, yeah. Thank you, Livramento, for that. When we needed him most. Strawberry says Sarr in or Digne. I wouldn't be bringing Digne in, I don't think. He's not really looking like a good FPL pick this season. He's not been contributing to the attack like he did last season, so I don't think Digne's a decent pick. Sarr, I'm not sure about either. I think in that price range, I actually would prefer Mbeumo from Brentford. Mbeumo's been brilliant, and he's been playing out of position. He's only 5.5, maybe 5.6 now, but he's been playing as a striker for Brentford, so he's an out of position pick as well, which is what you want in an FPL asset. Because although he's playing striker, he gets the midfield points, which means if Brentford keep a clean sheet, which could easily happen with the upcoming games they've got, he gets an extra point for that. And likewise, if he scores, he gets an extra point for that. Dave says DCL in. I think it's too early to go for DCL. He could become a very good option again. You know, the opening 3 games, I think he scored 1 goal in each game, so 3 for 3. But I think it's too early to move for DCL. I think he's a wait and see right now. But definitely he could emerge as a very good option because he is a great FPL pick. Really is. Last season as well, he was a great pick on FPL. I think it's probably a week too early though, game week 9. Even if Benitez says he's back, I'm not sure if I would do it straight away. I think I'd wait, give him a game. Tronic says, what's your rank, Focal? It's on the right hand side, top right corner. 17k currently. I've got Smith Rowe and Ramsdale left to play, so it's going to be down to them, you know, in terms of where I finish. And they are the 2 lesser owned players in my team. Smith Rowe only 6% owned. Ramsdale's also 6%. What are the odds of that? Smith Rowe and Ramsdale have identical ownership, 6.1%. So, if they both do well, who knows where I'll finish. You know, if Smith Rowe picks up a goal tomorrow, Ramsdale keeps a clean sheet, I could be in the top 10k by the end of tomorrow. Narish asks a very good question. When to get Son, now or Game Week 12? It really is team dependent, that one. So in my case, although I think he's a good pick, I'm not looking to get him right now. It could be Foden that makes way for Son in a few weeks, but yeah, I think it's very team dependent, that one. In my case, I'm quite happy to have Foden, but I am looking to pick up Son in probably 2 or 3 weeks' time. Oh, I have some really exciting news, by the way, everyone. I don't know if any of you follow some of my videos. I've got a playlist called like the Special Videos playlist. So it's things like the interview of Fabio Borges, like the greatest FPL team of all time, the highest gaming score of all time. And basically, I managed to connect with a guy called Bernie Donnelly. And he is the guy who literally created fantasy football. He's literally the founding father of fantasy football. And he came up with the very first version of fantasy football back in 1971. And obviously it's a very different game. It doesn't resemble what you have on your screen now. You know, it wasn't even like internet, let alone all these live streams and all the goodies that we have nowadays. But he is literally the guy who made FPL. And I connected with him, and I basically asked if he was like up for being on a video. And he was so up for it. He instantly gave me his number, and he was like, yeah, definitely, you know, give me a call anytime. So maybe over the next international break, I'll work on a video there. Maybe on like the history of FPL, how it started, how we got here. So I'm really excited for that one. I think that'll be a cracking video if I can execute it right. But yeah, that was only last night that I managed to connect with him, so I was quite excited by that. The man who I just cannot track down is Magnus Carlsen. I know a lot of people would absolutely love something on Magnus Carlsen, and I actually reached out to his publicist. I sent his publicist an email, and I said, you know, is he up for answering a few questions? And the publicist said, yeah, I'll pass them on. But right now, Magnus is obviously preparing for the World Championship, which I think, from his perspective, probably comes before FPL. So, yeah, I'm not hopeful. If I ever get anything out of Magnus, it'll be December onwards. IS says, when did you start playing FPL? I started playing 10 years ago. So I think this is my 11th season. Yeah, this is my 11th season, I believe. So, a while. I really started taking it seriously probably about 5 years ago. Before that, I was a very casual player. You know, I'd often forget about it for a few game weeks in a row and that sort of thing. Especially in the early days. I think I gave up by, you know, halfway through the season. But I think I've got my rank history in the bottom right corner. My season rank history. It's nothing eye-watering, but I thought I'd include it there because, you know, at least you know then I've played for a long time and not just started this account yesterday. Vida, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Yeah, it's been a good weekend. I'm doing all right. The wildcard was a bit of a roller coaster, I'll be honest. I was saying earlier that Gameweek 8 had a lot of upsets. You know, Jimenez getting benched, James getting benched, Armstrong getting benched, Grealish, Jota, Diaz, and then obviously Son starts and Son scores, which was very unexpected as well. I was on the fence about getting Son on the wildcard. Obviously, in my first wildcard video, I had Son, but he didn't make the final draft. But I did think he'd do well against Newcastle. Fabio Borges, he actually activated his wildcard for Gameweek 9. He's the one I mentioned earlier, who's the greatest FPL manager of all time. His record is just incredible. And he activated his wildcard because he was a Son owner. And when the Son news came out, he activated the wildcard literally a day before the deadline. And yeah, he's probably a bit pissed off about that, considering Son played. Arsene says, Chilwell as Piliqueta. That's a good question as well. So the way I look at that is it's depending on your risk tolerance there. So Chilwell's a much higher ceiling pick. You know, he's only just played his first 2 games of the season and he's scored in both of them. Whereas Azpilicueta, he's much less likely to get an attacking return. So it's really down to your risk tolerance there. I think Chilwell's a great pick. And I do think he might lock down the left wing back spot. So I think he's a very strong pick. But Azpilicueta is definitely the safer of the two. Azpilicueta can obviously play in the right of the back 3, or he can play in right wing back. So he's definitely a more secure pick, and yeah, a veteran in that back 3. Narish says, my first season and I have 555 points till now. That's a huge score. What's your rank, Narish? You must be top 10k with that, I would imagine. Very impressive score. What's everyone's plans for Gameweek 9? Any transfers in mind? I do think I'll probably end up rolling the transfer, so this is how I'm looking for Gameweek 9. I think I'll have to bench Armstrong after what happened this game week. I don't think I can trust him to play. Is it Broja started up top. I think it was a 4-1-4-1 Hasenhüttl played, I believe. I'm not sure if it was Redman as a second striker or not. And obviously scored, so I think Hasenhüttl won't look to change anything right now. So I'm a bit worried that Armstrong's not going to play again. But I did leave myself with 0.4 in the bank, as I was saying earlier. So if need be, I've got enough to do Armstrong to Tony, which I probably will do Game Week 10 instead. Rob's thinking about rolling the transfer. So is Vegard. Very good. It's always great if you're in a position where you can afford to roll the transfer. Because it is a position of strength, definitely. If you can go into a game week and you've got 2 to use, you really can change your team quite fluidly. Or, if your team's not looking like it needs loads of changes, you can just make 1 and keep rolling the second until you need it. That's something that a lot of veteran players I've noticed are doing. I do like to watch what players like Fabio Borges do, because they're the greatest FPL players of all time. And a lot of them, they'll have 2 transfers and they'll consistently use one. Sometimes for 5, 6, 7 game weeks in a row, they'll keep banking the second. And when they really need it, when they need some drastic changes in the team, they'll make a double transfer then. Vidal says, Chilwell for Diaz is tempting, but I might roll it. Yeah, I think he might regret it, honestly, if he sold Diaz for Chilwell now. It was very surprising that Diaz got benched. I really didn't see that one coming. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have brought him in on the wild card. And if we look back to last season, Diaz was benched once all the way to Gameweek 30. So hopefully, although history doesn't repeat itself, it does often rhyme. Hopefully, this Gameweek 8 benching is the only one we see for a long time for Diaz. And if that is the case, then I think he's still a great pick. And yeah, I wouldn't be selling him for Diaz for a Chilwell. I think you might end up regretting that one. Tronic says, did Diaz miss this game week? Yeah, well, he was benched, basically. He came on at the end, so he got 18 minutes, which was a 1-pointer. Which was worrying, because I thought he was blocking my Livramento points. But actually, Armstrong didn't play at all. I was looking on the OneFootball app, and it said Armstrong came on, and I was like, you're joking. And then I realised it was Stuart Armstrong, not Adam Armstrong, because they've got 2 Armstrongs. So after all the stress, it was actually Stuart Armstrong. So Livramento did come off my bench in the end. So yeah, as it stands on, I've put 49 points there, but that's actually not correct. What am I actually on? So yeah, I'd be on 55, right? After Livramento's points coming off the bench. Yeah, 55 points. Massive thank you everyone that has tuned into the stream so far. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit the like button and obviously subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future streams and videos. Pleasure to have you all here. Hope everyone had a good game week 8. And those of you that have got players left to play tomorrow, hope it goes well too. Dave says Diaz was benched because of the Champions League. Yeah, that's the only thing I can guess, that he's got one eye on the Champions League. But I don't know. Diaz is the type of player that can play week in, week out. That's what we've seen Pep do with him historically. But yeah, as we've said before, when Man City play Burnley, it's historically a very high scoring game. You know, before the Game Week 8 matchup, the last 4 before that finished 5-0 to Man City at home. So I think Pep trusted that he could get the win out of that team. And it's not like he was playing, you know, some garbage backup centre-back. It's Laporte and Stones. So yeah, I can understand it, but hopefully we don't see much more of that from Pep. Ahmed says, should I keep James? Yeah, I'd keep hold of him. Definitely, I'm planning to keep hold of him. If he continues to be benched, then I think it's a worry, but I don't think right now it's panic station, so I'd keep hold of him. Cheeks has smashed the like button. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Abdul has Tierney left to play. Tierney's a great pick, actually. Yeah, I regret not getting Tierney instead of James, honestly, because I posted on Twitter and on my channel that reluctantly I went for James because obviously Rudiger was injured. And it was between Chilwell and James, and I said reluctantly I've gone for James. Strawberry says, which one of Decore, Gray or Townsend? I actually wouldn't pick any of them. If I was going to pick someone in that price range, I would go for Mbumo. I've mentioned him before, but he's playing out of position for Brentford. He's been playing striker. And let's try and find him here. I think he's only 5.5, unless he's risen to 5.6. Yeah, he's still 5.5. He's got 2 goals so far. They have had some tough games. You know, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. That said, they did beat Arsenal 2-0. But he's playing out of position, and he's 5.5, and his underlying data is good. So I think I would go for Mbumo out of all of them. And of course, the fixtures are very good as well. They've got Leicester this week. Leicester, who have been leaking goals. Beyond that, they've got Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle. Really, really good fixtures. And I do think you want to have either Mbumo or Tony, or both. Mohamed says, Lukaku captain next game week. Yeah, I think he's probably going to be the most popular captain. But there's definitely a question to be asked there after the form Salah's shown. And not just that, the form that he's shown even against the top sides. Like we were saying earlier against Man City, where he got the goal and the assist, 13-pointer. What a season Salah's having, by the way. Absolutely incredible. 7 goals and 5 assists in 8. In my opinion, best player in the world right now. I know you've got the Ronaldos and the Messis, but right now, current form, honestly, I think he's best in the world. You could make a shout for Lewandowski or Haaland, I suppose, but Salah's just been incredible. If anyone didn't see it, I posted a top 100 managers video earlier today. And yeah, on that we basically look at the team selections of the top 100 greatest FPL managers of all time. Is that going to be like in the world? Oh, that's not it. I suppose we could pull this up on stream as well. There we go. And this is basically the top 100 greatest ever FPL managers of all time. And basically, these top 100, to make this selection, you need to have 4 top 1Ks or 7 top 10Ks. And this is basically their team right now. Imagine this, we're watching one of my videos on one of my streams. Although I don't get the views for that, do I? But yeah, basically this is their template team right now. Does that work? No, it doesn't fit either. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so Salah, I don't know how, but Salah's still not got 100% ownership among the Elite 100. 99.4% ownership. So yeah, there's a few managers still that don't have him among the top 100 all-time FPL managers. But I think you have to be crazy not to have Salah. And definitely, I think he's a reasonable captain for the Man United game. Akil says, I'm going to use my bench boost. I would probably save it, Akil. Typically, the best game week to use it is in a double game week. We don't yet know what the double game weeks are going to look like, but there will be double game weeks later in the season. And the reason we get those is because when teams get far in other competitions, like the FA Cup and League Cup, those fixtures clash with the Premier League fixtures, which means they have to rearrange those games to another game week. And that's how you end up getting double game weeks. And then, of course, those teams that advanced far in the Cup, those opponents they would have played in the league cannot play either because their opponents got other Cup obligations. So that's how you end up getting the double game weeks later in the season. Probably not for a long time. It could be game week 25 onwards. I'm trying to remember when it was last season. I think it was like game week 33 even. But historically, that's the best time to use it because yeah, obviously you've got a bench that can play twice and you're less likely to have a player not playing at all because they've got 2 games they can play in. And again, if anyone's maybe some of you have seen it before, but I've got a video on the biggest FPL score of all time, and the guy who got that, he used the bench boost and he got, I think it was 226 points back in the 15-16 season. Florinho says best replacement for Jota. It depends on who you own. I think Rafinha is still a very good option. I think Mbeumo is a good option from Brentford. I think Smith Rowe and Saka are good options. I'd probably consider one of them. Copsy says Chilwell in for Walker. Do you own any other Man City defenders, Copsy? Because I think honestly Cancelo and Diaz are still worth owning. I'd probably consider them. Chilwell could be a very good pick as well, but I think considering Man City's underlying data, I think you want to own a Man City defender. It's just a shame that Walker's not getting consistent minutes, but it was something we thought might happen because Cancelo's capable of playing in right back, which is Walker's position, but also left back, which is why Cancelo is such an appealing player to have. And of course, Mendy's in jail or something, so he's definitely not making the squad anytime soon. So it's basically just Zinchenko competing with Cancelo for left back. Maybe Ake, if Pep's really feeling the rotation. Ali says, wow, Focal, is this 17k rank your best ever start? I'm not sure, actually. So something I started doing about 3 seasons ago was I keep my entire game week history. And and then I keep it on like a chart just to see how I've done. And I think 3 seasons ago I had a very similar start. But yeah, it's definitely one of my best ever starts. Yeah, definitely. A lot of decisions have gone right. Cancelo was one that was spot on, I have to say. But I have made some decisions which were terrible as well, such as getting Lukaku over Vardy about 4 or 5 game weeks ago. So there we go. Akel says, do you play UCL Fantasy? No, I don't. I've never bothered with UCL Fantasy, actually. I did the Euros Fantasy. That was really fun. And I did 1 or 2 streams for that. But no, I don't actually do the Champions League one, to be honest. It's too much fantasy for me. Stuart says, start Livramento and Mbumo or Armstrong. I would start Mbumo. Back the attacker. Armstrong, not even clear if he's going to start or not. So I would go for Mbumo. Back the attacker, definitely. Hit the post again, didn't he, against Chelsea? Or hit it twice. So unfortunate. It's definitely coming from Mbumo. And like I say, he's playing out of position, 5.5. You cannot go wrong. And that was kind of the plan with the wildcard draft. So this is my team for game week 9, but I've got 0.4 in the bank. So in 1 or 2 weeks, I've got the option to move Smith Rowe to Mbumo or Armstrong to Tony. So I've got a couple of ways I can go there. I think Mbumo and Tony are both great picks, and yeah, I think now's a great time to get them, honestly. Sam says, do you reckon Armstrong gets benched? Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I do, because Brozier started for Southampton and scored. So, yeah, I'm not convinced that Armstrong starts. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or whatever the saying is. So, yeah, I'm not convinced Armstrong starts, you know, and he maybe makes a cameo. So I'm going to bench him in favour of, I suppose in favour of Antonio if I had to pick one to bench here. Maybe Smith Rowe. Albina says, sell Antonio for Hwang. I don't think it's a good time to sell Antonio, honestly. We're looking at the XG Underachievers for Gameweek 8, and you can see how unfortunate those of us with Antonio were, which I think is most of us. He failed to score, but he had an XG of 0.87, which was the second highest of all players in Gameweek 8. So, yeah, I don't think it's the right call to sell him, honestly. Maybe in a week or 2, but right now I'm happy to hold him. And he does play Tottenham, by the way, who haven't been very good themselves defensively. Even tonight conceded 2 to Newcastle, so, you know, no other question for Antonio to get something there. And it is a game at home as well, which is good. And Azu says 139 viewers. I think that's probably a record. I have to say, I think that's probably an all-time record for this channel. So thank you so much, everyone who has tuned in to make that number possible. And if you are enjoying the stream and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And of course, like the video. We're on 70 likes, so hit the like button as well if you are enjoying the stream. It takes 2 seconds, and it's good for the YouTube algorithm, so I'm told. Zap Bruder says, I'd Cancelo captain. Hurts to look at that chart. Yeah, that's bold. Cancelo captain. Unfortunate. On another day, he could have had more. I think he was. I think he was on the XG Underachievers. I think he had 0.46 XG, but obviously failed to get a return. I think I know which chance it was in particular that he didn't bury. There was that ball played over the top to the back post, and Cancelo was running in, and he latched onto it, hit it on the volley, but Pope saved it. But yeah, that was bold actually to not back Salah. So fair play. Bold decision. Dave says, don't forget to smash a like. That's it, yeah. That's what I meant to say. Artificial Lift says, is Foden a safe choice? Definitely not a safe choice, no. I'd never use the word safe when, you know, describing any Man City assets. But he's a very high ceiling pick. That was why I picked him up on the wildcard. You know, and historically, Man City versus Burnley is a very high scoring game. I forgot what the stat was, but I did research it and I posted a tweet about it. And Guardiola had faced Daesh's Burnley something like 15 times in all competitions. And on average, there was 3 goals every game scored. And obviously, the last 4 meetings at the Etihad were 5-0. So it was, yeah, I was back in the high ceiling pick there, which I'd say Foden is. Grealish has kind of been disappointing. Just a goal and an assist from Grealish over his opening 7 games. Obviously didn't play in Gameweek 8. R2 says start Livramento or Smith Rowe. Definitely Smith Rowe. Again, I'd always back the attacker there. Hadis says start Arnold or Hwang. If that's Alexander-Arnold, definitely I'd start Trent. I would never bench Trent. It doesn't matter who he's playing. If he's playing Man City, I'll start him. If he's playing Man United or Chelsea, I'll start him. You never bench Trent. Never. Season keeper, in my opinion. Which was something I discussed on the wildcard video as well. He wasn't in the initial draft, but I just knew it'd be a matter of time until I wanted Trent back in. And, you know, he could have hauled on another day against Watford. In fact, I think one of Firmino's goals was assisted by Williams, who came on and played right back. So that would have been a Trent assist if he was still on the pitch. Ali says, have you got plans to go big on Man United players from Gameweek 15? Not at the moment, honestly. Not at the moment, because I'm not sure who I would go from that Man United side. Bruno doesn't look worth it. Ronaldo doesn't look worth it. So who is there to go for? Maybe you could make a case for Ronaldo, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'll see how it looks nearer the time. I think it's too early to be deciding that sort of thing. Artificial Lift says Foden or Hwang for Gameweek 9. Tough one. I think I'd probably go for Foden between the two. Yeah, I think I'd go for Foden. But you have to really be ready for Foden to be benched. So as long as you've got a good bench yourself. You know, in my case, I wildcarded with a bench in mind in case there was any players like Foden or Cancelo that were unexpectedly benched. In reality, it was some other players like James and Armstrong that ended up benched. But yeah, we had Livramento to come off the bench, so it wasn't all bad. Stuart says stay away from Man United players. There you go. You heard it from Stuart. Yeah, I'm not convinced by Man United. I think Ole's in a difficult position. I imagine Man United fans are calling for his head. Are any Man United fans in the chat? What are your thoughts on Solskjaer? Should he stick around or does he need to go? Yeah, no, you make a good point, Ali. Ronaldo always produces against smaller sides. And there's every possibility that Ronaldo hauls against all those smaller sides for that run of games. And he could end up, you know, a relative differential for those run of games if you pick him up early. But it's just very early right now to be thinking about what I'm going to do then. Because it's so far ahead that, you know, I don't know what my team will look like or if there's other better options by then. You know, the landscape changes quickly. Kane got a goal and an assist tonight. If he carries his form on, we could be looking at Kane over Ronaldo. Or maybe the question will be Kane or Ronaldo. Which one do we get? Or if Lukaku's still in great form by then, it could be do we keep hold of Lukaku? So yeah, it's very early. I'm not sure yet. Greg says Solskjaer needs to go. I think, I think the majority of fans think it's time for him to go. Who do you replace him with? That's the question, isn't it? Who comes in? Is Conte free? Stuart says he should go, but he'll stay until top 4 isn't possible. Yeah, maybe they'll give him longer. It's really whether there's someone else they could bring in right now to do a better job. Aya says, what was that point predictor site you had earlier? That was FPL Review. Definitely recommend it. They've got a free plan and a paid plan. And this is the paid plan, which I don't actually know what the difference is between the two, honestly. I think the pay plan factors in minutes that the community can input. So if, for example, you know, Kane was injured, I could just update this and be like 0, he's not going to play. And then it's updates for everyone else on the site, you know, and it pulls together things like that, groupthink information. But yeah, really good website, and yeah, used with the permissions, the owner's permission, this data. 12th man, YNWA, you never walk alone, says, as a Liverpool fan, I would say Ole in. Yeah, I think a lot of other London clubs were saying the same about Arteta when we lost the opening 3 this season. Hannah says, bench order please, Armstrong, Hwang, Livramento. Oh, you must have a good start on 11 if that's your bench. I would have Hwang, then Livramento, and then Armstrong. I just wanted to very quickly also mention our Discord. If anyone's not in our Discord, there's a link to that in the description. Genuinely good FPL resource. It's got the things like the price changes, the lineups, the live scores, live points, bonus points, Gameweek stats, injury updates. Obviously you can go through all this in your own time, but there's loads here. Insider trading, new players, disaster class. Love this one. This is things like red cards and own goals, deadline alerts, captain polls, loads more. Really, really useful FPL resource, and there's a link to join that in the description if anyone's interested. Anyway, I think we've been live for like a good hour or so, so I'm going to call it a day. I am blown away by the turnout tonight because it was a very last minute impromptu stream, so thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. If you have enjoyed the stream, hit like, and of course subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. The next video will be out on Tuesday, which will be the top 3 captain picks for Gameweek 9. You can probably guess 1 or 2 of them, but make sure you give that a watch, and as always drop a comment on my videos because I do read them all. And thank you again for being awesome everyone, and I will see you soon for the next one.